Hey everyone, it is Ellen Juddy, your PLC lead for high school dance on the Godot Communities website. And we are in the April webinar. We have been talking about some ideas for dance history lessons and then some ideas for anatomy, injury prevention, and nutrition. The first one, we went through sort of what you could do in a 4-year rotation or just lots of different information starting at the beginning of time with Roman, Greek, and Egyptian dance, and then going the whole way up through modern times with modern and ballet and jazz, world dance, social dances, and then we talked about dance production and dance as a career. So I do have an outline that I'm going to drop in the document section. So it's just typed out, all the things we talked about. And then the anatomy, injury prevention, nutrition, talked about, we went through injury prevention, and then we talked about skeletal system above and below the waist. We talked about the muscular system below and above the waist, and then into some like basic facts about nutrition, just the facts, protein, carbs, fats, calories, all that kind of stuff. And then we talked a little bit about cross-training for dancers. So this segment, I was just going to go through some ideas of what to do with that content. Once you've decided what content you want to give your students, then you have to sort of flesh it out and make the lesson plans. I will say before we start, if you go to the Godot Fine Arts website, that first page will come up and you have to scroll down a little bit, but it's called the frameworks. And if you scroll down to the dance frameworks, there are a bunch of different lessons, like everything's made for you. So the lesson plans are there, in-depth lesson plans. There's activities, there's worksheets, there's rubrics, and there is dance history on there. I think there's a bunch of modern dance history. There's a world dance class as well. I didn't create that one, but I think there's a lot of stuff on there. And I know there's a jazz dance one that we just created last year. So just before I start, there's a lot of resources on that too. But when I'm doing a lesson or when I'm writing a lesson, my first breakdown is like you have the parts of the lessons. So I basically break it into 5 different sections. So the first section would be your engage or your hook activity. So that's something to get their attention real quick, maybe a 3-minute video, maybe a little like popcorn question thing to see what they know. So just like an engagement activity that is really quick. Then the next section would be your learn or your content delivery. And what I've found is that content delivery has to be in short sections. So I think I mentioned in the first segment for April about the modern dance section that we did a while ago. We had like 12 people, like Martha Graham, Twyla Tharp, Alvin Ailey, all the people. And we had this huge spreadsheet. And we just kept adding to the spreadsheet, have the person's name and then their date of birth and then their contributions and then their famous works. And so then by the time we had filled it all in, we were at the bottom of the spreadsheet. It was just way too much information. Now, of course, that wasn't all in one sitting, but even breaking it up into 4 people per lesson was just way too much information. So just that content delivery in short sections. And then you'll want to go to a practice section. This is where you're gonna check to see what they know. And that can be a game or a fun activity of some sort. And I'll go back and talk to you about some ideas. So that's just practicing what they've just learned. Then the next part would be a show or like another knowledge check, maybe a more formal check, maybe a small quiz or something to that effect, a worksheet, something that you would want them to, show what they know. And then the last part would be an extend activity if you wanted to do something like that. And that is sort of an activity that could be fun, maybe extra credit if your kids need extra credit, but it further solidifies what you have given them in the lesson. So I went back and I just made some ideas. I didn't make some ideas. I jotted some ideas down. So videos are obviously for dance always fantastic. Um, and again, as attention spans are fairly short, you know, we've got all the little video apps now, the reels and stuff that are like these short videos. So finding video snippets of whatever you're teaching them about is a good idea, especially for that engage or the hook activity. I don't know what kind of if your school is using an online platform. I know we have an online platform that I have a lot of this stuff on. So I was just looking through it before I did the webinar, and we've done like a lot of visual timelines. So, you can do this with, on the board, or if you do it on your online platform. So it's like a line, and then some information on the left side, and then it goes down in time. There's some information on the right, left, right, left. So a little visual timeline if you're teaching them about that or about some history. Also, giving them small chunks of reading, and then pair that with a video, or maybe if you need some guided notes or something sort of like that. Again, I think the smaller chunks of reading, the better, and then you're also working on those critical reading and thinking skills as well. Again, I don't know what online platforms, but I know ours has a quiz function, so you can do little quizzes, and there's all kinds of, I know for us, we can do true or false, you can do multiple choice, you can do all kinds of like fill in the blank, so there's all kinds of options there. And again, all of this stuff can be done on paper. I know I'm big on online discussion threads. That's really great, getting them to jot down, like I'll do like, has to be 3 to 5 sentences. Please don't put bullet points, write it out, and there's your critical writing that you're working on. I also love class discussions, like the Socratic seminar. I guess it depends on if you have a really huge class, that might not be the best. Although you could break them up into smaller groups and have their own discussions and walk around and help with that, depending on your students. If you're learning dance history, excuse me, you could actually have them, learn. I mean, you can go on YouTube and get any kind of thing right now. So you could have them learn something. If you're doing a unit on social dance, you could find a social dance and have them, like the Jitterbug or Charleston or something like that. You could actually have them learn that. If we're talking about content delivery, there are bunches of applications online that you can get for free, but I know that there's this one specific one that I love to use. It was like an online newsletter that was really cool. You could formulate it, visually how you wanted, and it was pretty user friendly. So pictures, and then like you could insert pictures and videos and some content. So that was really great. Crossword puzzles, that's always a fun one. I know my kids really enjoyed the crossword puzzles. Again, there's plenty of options, I think, to make them online. But again, you could do it on paper because you can generate it and then print them out too. So let's see. Online games is another fun one. There's a bunch of those. I'm sure you know which ones to use. There's like the online quizzes too. So I think a bunch of them, you can create quizzes and games and different things. So that's always fun. Also, you could have them create their own presentation. There's, I think sometimes I think we think this generation can just whip up something online. I mean, a lot of them can, but I think sometimes they're not as savvy as we think. So I like to assign them making an online presentation, and there's a ton of apps that they can use as well that are free. So some sort of presentation. You can do a research project in anything really, and then you can decide if you want them to do small group. I know sometimes the group presentations are a little bit frustrating because you inevitably have a kid who won't do anything, and that's can be hard to navigate as well. So but then if you have a class of 30, do you want to have 30 individual research projects to grade? I'm one to say no, but that might be something that, you'd be okay with. So those are just a lot of the options that I thought we have. I mean, I know you, um, do all this stuff already, but sometimes it's just good to hear somebody else say it. So again, I will have the outline that I did in the segment 1 for dance history, segment 2 for the anatomy injury prevention, and then just these ideas. I mean, it's literally just a list of bulleted points. So just so you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, that is it for today. I will be back for the last webinar in May for this school year. So hope your shows are going good, and I will see you soon. Thank you.